Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Skye, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about if I had a realistic makeup collection, what would that look like? I don't remember who created this video idea, so if you do, please let me know in the comments down below. I know that this is a very popular idea, but I don't know who started it, and I'd like to give credit. And one of you suggested that I do this video as well, so basically, if I wasn't really a goblin with makeup, and if I was just kind of like casually into makeup, or I wanted to just have a very small like capsule collection, something a bit more realistic, what would that look like? Now I put realistic in quotes because I find that my collection right now is quite realistic, at least for me, but if we're talking about in like an alternate universe, if I wasn't a goblin with makeup, if I just wanted, you know, the bare necessities, stuff that I would be really entertained by, and things that would just serve a purpose, and you know, I didn't want to have too much. Just a simple, like maybe like a small makeup bag of stuff. What would that look like? We're gonna speed through the base products because my base collection is very minimalistic. So you probably know what these products are gonna be, but let's talk about them anyway. So for primer, I would choose the Milani Skin Quench primer. This is just a lovely moisturizing primer, and I'm not super picky with primers. To be honest, like, this is moisturizing, it grips onto makeup nicely, and it's cheap and cheerful, so I would pick it. This is the only primer in my collection, and I really do enjoy it, actually. Now, for foundation, you might be surprised that I am not including the Auric Glow Lust, because I feel like I wouldn't really want to faff around with base all that much. And I mean, today I am just wearing concealer, powder, and primer, like, for my base, not including Chic products. But I don't really tend to wear foundation all that often, but I feel like if I were to, I would wear the Fenty Beauty Skin Tint. This is in the shade number 2, and I love this skin tint so much. I especially love mixing this in with the Auric Glow Lust, but in this alternate reality, I don't think that I would really be bothered in mixing them together. I feel like I would just want something quick. You can apply this with your hands basically, and it looks really nice. For my concealer, again, we're sticking with Fenty. This is the Fenty Beauty Eye Brightener in the shade 02, Golden Ivory. This concealer is the most beautiful light coverage concealer. I'm wearing it today. It is wonderful. Even if I don't wear any other base products, if I just put on concealer and powder, this just blends into the skin so beautifully. I absolutely love it. I am running low on this, and I feel like as much as I love the Oma Beauty Stay Work, I would just want to have something light coverage that can work for everything, because even though the Stay Work can work for basically everything, I think this one's a tiny bit more universal in this universe. And in this universe, I don't think I would want to have like 2 concealers. Now for powder, I have to also go for Fenty, all reliable, the Fenty Beauty Loose Powder in the shade Butter. This is just the best loose powder I've ever tried. Best powder I've ever tried. It mattifies my skin beautifully. It's really good to blend out edges of like eyeshadow looks. It works so beautifully, keeps my face matte all day, but not flat, and it doesn't look super like cakey on areas. It's wonderful. And you get so much product in this. You get how much? 28 grams. Like, that's a lot. This is a big boy. That's a lot of powder. And I feel like if I'm gonna have powder, I use a lot of powder in my life. This is just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Now the bronzer that I would have in my realistic collection. This bronzer unfortunately doesn't exist anymore, at least to my knowledge. I know that Becca was bought out by Smashbox or whatever, but it would have to be Becca Bali Sands. This isn't my all reliable. I have gone through one of these before, and I mean, look at that pan. Look at that pan. This is the most beautiful, subtle bronzer, and because this is such like a light shade for my skin tone, I just love a subtle bronzer because you can go to town with this. And it's not too pigmented, and it has a nice amount of glow to it as well, and without being like super shiny. It's just a beautiful natural finish. And when it comes to bronzer, I just want something easy. I just want something easy that I can just whack on, not have to think about it, and this is the bronzer that you can do that with. Now for blush, this was when it started to get difficult. Really difficult, because I am a blush fiend. And even though a lot of my blushes are very peachy toned, it was still difficult to pick between all the peaches, okay? It was very difficult. And I also wanted to pick a blush that would kind of work for cool toned looks as well, but I don't really have any like true neutral blushes. So I thought that I would pick this one. This is the Cover FX blush in the shade Soft Peach. This is what it looks like right here. And I wanted to choose this one because this is such a beautiful soft peach blush. And the fact that you have both a matte and a shimmery side and you can layer them on top together, I feel like this is quite versatile. Like if I were to, theoretically in this fantasy, I would want to have something that you can do both with. You know, something a bit more universal. I don't really like face palettes like at all. Never really did, to be honest. I don't like to have like all-in-one things, but I do love to have a cheeky little duo because it gives me the variety that I want. Variety being matte and shimmer. Who would have thunk it? But this formula is fantastic, really reliable, and you can make this blush a bit more subtle and really intense as well. It's very like versatile in that regard as well. So I feel like on the days where I didn't want to go super blush heavy, this would be a good option to have. And I love her. She's a great little reliable blush. And the packaging is really nice and sleek, and the mirror is really good too. So that's also something that I would probably consider. Now for highlighter, this was the most difficult thing to choose because in all honesty, recently I have not really been that interested in wearing highlighter. Like the past couple of months, I've just not been wearing it. I mean, today, I'm not wearing highlighter. But I wanted to pick one because, you know, you never know. And as much as I love my colorful highlights, with the other palettes that I have chosen, there are shades in there that I could use as highlighter that are like more like fun, sparkly colors. So I would thought, what's something that is neutral that could work in all seasons as well? And I chose the Essence Choose Your Glow palette. And the reason why I chose this, it is wonderful. It is a wonderful like neutral toned highlighter palette. And you've got like your pinky one, your more like goldish color, and a more bronze shade. And I do like this palette because all of these shades can work for me. Summer Glow only works for me while I'm in the summertime and I'm a bit more tanned. But if anything, that makes this palette like kind of the perfect contender for this like kind of fantasy world, because then I have something that'll work for me in all seasons. I should have probably thought that when picking bronzer, but oh well, I could just layer on more bronzer. Okay, we're moving on to the eyes, the exciting part. Now I didn't pick any lashes for this section because, not gonna lie, I don't think I would be really into lashes that much. And also picking one pair of lashes out of all of the ones that I've tried was a bit too painful for me, so I was like, you know what, we're just not gonna do it. We're just not gonna do it. We'll talk about the non-eyeshadow bits first, like the more boring ones, but for eye primer, I would definitely choose my power combo, the Milani eyeshadow primer. We know how much I love this. It is the most perfect primer for oily eyelids. This is my third or fourth bottle of it. It is fantastic. And then I would also pick the Firine Pixie Epoxy right here. This is basically kind of like the NYX glitter glue, but I find that this works a little bit better. It doesn't, you don't risk making things look a bit textured on your eyes. It works with a lot more shimmer formulas. Let's talk about brows really quick because again, this is a very easy one for me. I would choose my current brow combo, which is the NYX Brow Glue. Right here, it is just a lovely strong brow gel that's clear, cheap and cheerful as well, works really well, big fan of it. And especially because I have really big bold brows naturally, I don't really need a tinted brow gel. And I would also pick the Boldface Makeup Better Brows Brow Pencil, and I'm in the shade B10. This was sent to me in PR, and I love this brow pencil so much. Sometimes I do want to fill in my brows because I have a couple of like thinner areas on the outer portion right here, and I do like to use this for that. I am wearing it in my brows today. And also sometimes when I pluck my brows and clean them up and shave, like I have a whole ass brow routine that I have to do pretty often because my brows grow way too quickly. Sometimes I have had instances where I shave off the tails a little bit too much and this comes in handy. So yes, I would definitely have a brow pencil in my arsenal. Okay, I know this is the part that you were waiting for, the eyeshadow palettes. What palettes would I pick? Now this was a lot easier than I thought it would be, because I was thinking, okay, what are palettes that would just work for every occasion? Because even though this is like a fantasy kind of realm and I've kind of been very minimal with everything else, I know myself and I feel like even in the fantasy world, I would still like colorful makeup. I didn't want to just do like kind of like the neutral version of me. I wanted to do something that I wanted to kind of interpret this video as like, just if I was still loving makeup and I loved being creative with makeup, but I wanted to be very minimalistic, this is what I would have, basically. So I did pick 3 eyeshadow palettes, 1 neutral and 2 colorful, and I feel like you'll probably be able to guess these palettes. So let's start off with the palette that I'm actually wearing on my eyes today. I would pick the Kaleidos Club Nebula palette that they did in collaboration with Angelica Nyqvist. I love this palette so dearly. I love the way that it is organized. You have some cool tone neutrals in the center right here. You also have your greens and blues, the peachy tones. I could pull some neutral looks from this if I really wanted to, and the shimmers in here are absolutely breathtaking. I have a lot of deep mattes that I want to work with. Again, a very versatile palette. The iridescence in here I could use as highlight. Like, I have used Firefly, You're My Only Hope, and Nova as face highlights before, and they look fucking fantastic. So that's why I was kind of like, okay, I can pick a more neutral toned highlight palette, because I have these as my options. And you can do so much with this palette, like I mentioned. It really is an all-in-one, and I feel like the only thing missing from this palette that would make me like really sad if I didn't actually have it in my realistic collection would be like a bright yellow. But we will get to that. I did pick a palette with a yellow coming next. I could do really simple one and done looks, really extravagant, like really detailed looks with this. So versatile, I love this palette so dearly. The look that I'm wearing right now is actually part of my palette bingo, so if you're curious, that video is probably going to be up before this one. Now the next palette I had to have another #1 favorite. I mean, all of these are favorites, all 3 of these palettes. I would have to have the Sugar Pill Fun Size palette. I was contemplating between this one and the Fun Size 2, but the Fun Size 1 did reign supreme because this one is a little bit more of like a classic rainbow color story, kind of like a classic pastel rainbow, essentially. It's got the yellow in here, the bright orange, the purples, the periwinkles, that light green that I absolutely adore, Twitch. I've nearly hit pan in that. Like, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see, like on camera, how deep that pan goes. I also have a nice bright red in here. I knew that I would want to have this in my collection, in my realistic collection, because it's just, this is the palette that I reach for if I just need some bright colors that I know work. This is the palette, this is my most used palette in my collection. Like #1 most used palette in my collection. I absolutely love it so much. I would be very upset if I didn't have this in my life. It is just a staple. Staple now, staple in this fantasy realm, it really truly is, and the formula is fantastic. Now the neutral palette that I would pick, the final palette, because I knew that I would want to have neutrals, because I have started to like love neutrals quite a lot, and it makes me really happy because now I have even more options when it comes to makeup. And again, this one's gonna be absolutely no surprise to any of you. The Geology Pilbara palette. This was sent to me in PR, and man oh man, I have such a love affair with this palette. I've actually hit pan in this shade right here, which is one of my favorite iridescents ever. And again, I love using this as face highlights, so even more of a reason to have a neutral toned highlights. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot in this video, but I have my warm tone neutrals, I have some olives in here. You can do a lot with this palette. It is just, it sparks a lot of joy for me. And a lot of the time, I mean, my favorite look that I've been doing recently is using these 3 shades just to do like a very simple, like almost all matte look. And I feel really gorgeous whenever I wear this palette. It complements my hair nicely, my eye color. I feel like this just works really well. Another palette that I would definitely be very upset if I didn't have this in my collection, and I wouldn't really feel the need to have any other neutrals, because between this and Club Nebula does have a couple, like, it has 1 cool tone neutral, let's be honest. It has that shade Naru right there, but if I mixed Naru with You're My Only Hope, like, I would have a beautiful, very simple cool tone neutral look, and then I have these for my warm tones. I can pair some of the, like, khaki shades with some of the greens in here as well. Peaches would pair really nicely with this. These palettes actually do pair really nicely together. I should probably use them together at some point. I think that would really work. But I think all 3 palettes together that I have chosen, they all just work really nicely together, and I would be very happy and content if this was just all I had. Because I do have a good, like, range over all of this. Okay, now single shadows. I feel like, in all honesty, I don't know if I'd really be into single shadows at this, in my, like, fantasy realm, because single shadows, it's one of the things where, like, once you start, you cannot stop. So I don't know if I feel like I would be just too overwhelmed and just be like, no, I'm happy with what I have. but I did want to pick one single shadow because this one, this is such a universal shade and I really love it. Again, I have hit pan in this. It is fantastic. It's the ColourPop Super Shock shadow in the shade Frog. This is just beautiful. I love the formula of ColourPop Super Shocks. It's just squishy and like just fun. And this is really good on the inner corners. And also, a lot of the times if I'm going to work and I want to wear eyeshadow, but I don't really want to do like a whole look. I don't want to piss about with mattes or anything. I just want to just smear something all over my lid and get out the door. I just whack this all over my lid, put on mascara, waterline, eyeliner, and then go. And it is such a beautiful, simple look. I get a lot of compliments when I wear this shade. It's just a beautiful, easy shadow. And again, this would pair really nicely, especially with the Sugar Pill Fun Size palette. Like, if I just did like a fun like rainbow look with this and then just shoved this all over my lid and inner corners, like it would just work. Okay, we're finishing up the eyes with mascara and eyeliner. Mascara, again, very boring. Let's just skip right through this. I would have the Nabla Major Pleasure mascara. This is the only mascara in my collection at the moment. Usually I hop between this one and the NYX Worth the Hype mascara. I love this one very much. This one's actually like on its last legs. Like I need to throw this out because I love the brush on this. It's such a beautiful like volumizing and lengthening formula. And the brush is just so good. It just gets all of the lashes. It's just a good I'm not really good with reviewing mascaras because my natural eyelashes are quite shit, but this makes me like my natural eyelashes. So that's saying something. Okay, so eyeliner. I am an eyeliner fiend. I really, really am. And I feel like right now my current eyeliner collection is very realistic because I love to switch up my waterline. I love wet liners with all of my heart. But let's say in this fantasy realm, I just wanted something simple. And even though like I love variety and everything, I can use the mattes from Club Nebula as liners and those can be lovely colorful liners. I have used those in the past. What's one wet liner that I would know that I would get a lot of use out of and would be just a good all-in-one, basically? I would have to pick the Glisten Split Liner in the shade Ghetto. Now mine's a little bit fucky because I have mixed them a little bit, but it is like a light caramel brown and a really deep chocolate brown. And I have a good dent in this actually. I don't know if you're gonna be able to tell. Maybe right there you can see. I have made a good dent in this. I love, love, love brown eyeliner for work. And even doing like just simple brown graphic liner, I think it looks absolutely stunning. And also if you want to shop Glisten Cosmetics, I do have my own discount code with them, Skye10 for 10% off. That is an affiliate code, so I will make a bit of commission if you decide to use it. So it's there if you'd like it. Now this one was easily like a no-brainer. What's the eyeliner that I would want to have in my waterline? The LA Girl Marshmallow eyeliner, the Pastel Dream Auto eyeliner in the shade Marshmallow. This is just a white pencil. I use a white eye pencil in almost every single look that I do. I love me a colorful waterline, but if I don't have a pencil that really works with what I'm doing, white is always my go-to. It just looks so cool. I love how bright it makes my eyes. It's really intense and striking. Oh yeah, obviously in this realistic collection, I would also have the Kimchi Chic Fake Freckle product. I love fake freckles. They make me feel very cute and I would not want to go without them, even in this fantasy world. Now we are moving on to the lips. And this one I was thinking, okay, realistically, would I really be into some bright ass lipsticks? And I do love me some weird colored lipsticks, but I don't think in this fantasy like realm, I would really be super into bright lips. I feel like I as much as I love them, I'd want the focus to be on the eyes and just to be very minimal with the lips. And this is gonna be no surprise to y'all. This is gonna be absolutely no surprise. So for bullet lipsticks, I had to pick the Odin's Eye bullet lipsticks. These are the Kiss of a Fairy lipsticks. I have one velvet and one cream. These are both beautiful neutral shades. The cream shade right here is in Love Jasmine and the velvet is in Light Peach. Beautiful matte, beautiful glossy, creamy finish. These are the best lipsticks in my collection. These are my #1 favorites and they work with literally every single look that I do, even cool toned looks, these bad boys work. I'm a broken record talking about these lipsticks because they are my most used lipsticks in my collection. I would not want to go without them. They are so universal. They work with literally everything. I would not be able to part with them. I had to go with another all reliable. I went with the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb in the shade Fenty Glow. This is my second one of these, and I'm actually wearing it on my lips today. This, I was contemplating between this one and the Little Jasmine gloss from Odin's Eye, but I thought, you know, I already have Love Jasmine, like the cream lipstick, and that shade is basically the exact same as the Little Jasmine gloss. So I thought, have a bit of variety. Let's pick something that is always close to my heart, Fenty Glow. This is one of the most beautiful neutral glosses, and I feel like this works, again, for almost every single look. Any look that I do that I'm like, I don't know what I want to do, these are the lipsticks, like lip products that I pull for, because these work with almost everything. Especially pairing this with like the peachy blush and like the peachier tones in my other palettes, and especially with the Pilbara palette. This is just such a good gloss. It's comfortable, it's moisturizing, there's a lot of product in here as well. It would definitely be the gloss that I would choose. I also forgot to mention, and I forgot to bring it into my office with me, what is the setting spray that I would pick? Urban Decay All Nighter. There's absolutely no question about it. That is my ride or die. Always and forever. But anyways, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Do let me know what are some products that you would have in your realistic makeup collection. If you'd like to see more makeup content from me, you can follow me on my Instagram. It's beautyybyskye right here. I post all my looks there and I'm active on there every single day. If you'd like to support me further, I do have my own small business, Rain Cloud Candles Co. We are a small queer-owned business based in the UK and we make handmade candles. The link to shop will be down below along with our social media if you'd like to support us. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to have you here, and as always, stay safe, wash your hands, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!